Hello everyone, Railgan here with yet another replay. I think this is the number 5 right now. We're looking at this game of JoseMartin, or JoseMartin. Guys, I don't know, don't crucify me please for the name. He said, as a Diamond 2 player, 4.2k MMR, I properly kept him on 3 bases while expanding up to 6 or 7. That's good. What I think he did wrong was the final fight. I don't know if it's the army composition is bad or my micro or maybe both. But I got absolutely crushed even though my army had a higher value. Also my ling run bys are always 10 to 50 seconds late. And he is quite aware that he's been able to climb this far only because of his macro, and his micro is terrible. He cannot drop the habit of using F2, so multi-pronged attacks are very difficult for him to defend. Any advice in that matter would be greatly appreciated. I can definitely give you some advice on the F2. And first of all, we're going to have a look at this game right now. He goes hatch gas pool, pretty standard, with a second hatchery before the queens. That has been popularized by Dark, I believe, originally in Korea. And a very good CVP strategy, a little bit risky against 2 gate openings like this guy's doing. But I think he went Nexus first into 2 gates, so it's not a problem either way. Scouting wise, he does JoseMartin or JoseMartin. JoseMartin. I don't know, guys. He's lost a lot of links right there. This is kind of the problem, right? Dealing with the adepts. It would be harder if the opponent was actually attacking him. Right, like this, he already made so many links. Like, just look at the worker count right now. I want to go a little bit back right now into the game and have a look at what exactly went wrong. 32 to 34 workers, overlord speed on the way. Second gas. Feels too fast for me, but if you have some plan in mind, if you can actually spend the gas, I don't mind you taking a faster gas. Should have cleaned this watchtower, then this all could have been prevented. Right now you build 6 links, so 2 adepts, how many links do you need? 8, 10? But look how many this guy's building. Unit. He's going for 17 links right now, and additional queens as well. So he has to make something work with these links. Now if you look at the supply block there, it was only a very brief one. He has a little bit of trouble spending his money right now. He did take this gas, but it's not really mining from. Maybe he took it because he was supply blocked a little bit. The third base feels pretty quick for the link style. Usually link styles take the third base at around the 5-minute mark, while Link Hydra takes it around the 4-minute mark. Because you're not reliant on the lair tech units that much, but you want the baning speed kind of. Pretty sure he's going for the link style since he's getting the +1 melee upgrade. Then again, he builds the Hydra then, so I can understand why he would go for this fast of a third base. The links didn't really do too much. He didn't quite manage to recover till now from the early attack, from all the links that he made. Like, if you make that many links, you just have to do some work with them. Right now he's doing work with them, but that's like 3 minutes too late. Of course, that's still a good move, that's a very good move, but the opponent just managed to get an advantage out of that. If you're scared, like you see 2 gate adept, you don't need to build 30 links. Less links are completely okay. You never even cleaned out these links. I'm not quite sure what you actually did with the links. Now you are making a lot of links. You're taking your 4th over there. Probably also gonna take an expansion down here. No fear of DTs at all. A nice run by here. Doing a little bit of damage, but the opponent has 3 cannons. Oh. Units lost, about even. Okay. Worker wise, about even. Lurker then on the way. Lurker then is on the way, but you can't really afford any lurkers. You need more gas if you want to go for lurkers. Link styles don't need as much gas, but lurkers are very gas heavy. You will need to have a look at how you want to play this out. Now you get Hydra speed, you're getting Burrow, you're getting an Infestation Pit. And we're once again starting to go to this point of the game that I often talk about in my replay analysis of why do you guys build all this stuff and then you don't use it? Like, you have the Lurker Den. Now, over a minute after the Lurker Den finished, Lurker count is at 0. So why do you build the Lurker Den? You want to set up a timing attack with Hydra speed. You take this base and you do defend it, that's really good. Maybe it was accidental because the Hydras were simply not rallied away. Could have also taken this base first. I like the creep spread, definitely good. You're getting the Hydra upgrades now as well. Makes sense. The money wise, you're pretty good. Like 700 can easily be spent. Morph 4 or 5 lurkers and build 4 or 5 Hydras. You have Overlord speed, so dealing with the DTs is not that hard. You have the Spire. You want that probably for Corruptors, I imagine. Greater Spire for Broodlords even, that's okay. The opponent is going for Colossi Carrier. I don't know this, I don't know. What am I watching? What am I watching? Well, I mean, Colossi are not really that good against Lurkers, right? It's kind of hard to engage into Lurkers. Taking out this base is good, you're doing a good job harassing. Opponent just pulled the probes away, of course they did not die. Corruptors are kind of what you want, like just a lot of, at this point, if I was the Zerg, cancel these upgrades. This is money invested that you don't want. I don't think you want a lot of Hydras, just go for the +3 melee upgrade. Upgrade your Corruptors and just go mass Corruptor and blow him up. That's what you want to do right now. Ling run by, very good. You're doing a really good job with the Ling run bys. You said you use F2 a lot. It's a general problem though, I don't think it's necessarily about this game. Cleaning up this space. Like, these lurkers are... I want to talk a little bit about this quickly. So, what you have up here, we can see that there are 3 more minutes in this game. I have the game timer up, but it doesn't really matter because we're just trying to have a look at this game and I'm not casting it, so it doesn't matter if you guys know the outcome or when it ends. What we have up here is 800 gas. No wait, this lurker is 150 actually, so we have 300, 600, 1.2k, 1.2k in resources, which means a total of 2,400 resources are up there. That could be about 12ish, more than 12 actually, about 15ish corruptors that you could have more down here if those resources were invested into corruptors instead. So if you have all these units up here and you want to fight this with the corruptors, right? The problem are these Archons. I think they will simply evaporate you if he attacks now. But it's cool to do these harassments, but you don't want to have half your army up here, half your army down here, while your opponent is going for one big attack. You might feel like you don't really need the lurkers in the fight, but you really need to deal with the Archons. The Archons are quite hard to deal with. I know you mentioned that the big problem is the last fight, and I'm starting to see why. Unless you pull these bad boys down, I can see why you'd have a problem with the last fight. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Slowing it down. What are the Corruptors shooting at? The Corruptors are shooting at the... Nah. This kind of hurts me. This kind of hurts me deep inside. See, I think you could have won this battle. You definitely had a smart attack when you did damage to his third up there. Then you lost this engagement and everything went south. Couldn't quite manage to completely kill off that base. You have these lurkers still on the map. I'm gonna speed it up a bit, but I think this game is over and I'm going to talk about what I think. I'm going to explain how the engagement should have went a little bit. Just a second after this game is over. Just having a look if anything else interesting happens. Ah, cute burrow. You kind of waited a little bit too long with the lurker attack. I think you could have started that earlier on. I know your resources were a little bit sparse and you invested into the Hydra upgrade and the lurkers. Of course you want the Hydra upgrade because else it can be hard for them to retreat, but maybe you could have done a little bit quicker with that, but that's not the main problem, right? The main problem is when I already paused before I knew the engagement happened. It's this point of the game. You have the Overseers for detection. That's good. You had them because of the DTs anyways, right? You have the Corruptors. You're going to have 25 Corruptors against 7 Tempests and I cannot quite see it. He carriers does he have? Like 2. That's okay. That's okay amount of Corruptors to have. You have these 3 Vipers. 4 Vipers actually. Now let's have a look at this. First of all, Archons do splash damage. Archons are the bane of Zerg. If you clump up your Corruptors, then the Archons just shoot once or twice. Bam. How many Corruptors died? Back a little bit. Now we're at 25, we go in, we also have 3 Hydras there. 25 Corruptors, 3 Hydras, 2 Hydras, 24 Corruptors. So 1 unit already, 2 Hydras, 1 Corruptor already died, some took damage and you clump up your entire army. Then we go in, another big hit, forward, another big hit, more hits. You're already down to 22 Corruptors and you haven't killed a single thing. 21 Corruptors, 1 Broodlord left, 0 Broodlords left. Put down the Parasitic Bomb, but the Parasitic Bomb is actually not that useful. I just want to have another quick look before I talk in more detail about it. I'm going to... Right now what I talked about is the Archon Splash, right? And we clearly saw how effective it is. Archon Splash is very dangerous and you absolutely have to do something to mitigate it. Now if you add these lurkers, if these lurkers were in this composition down here, you don't need all 8, but at least take 6 or so. You don't need 8 lurkers up here to defend a base that he hasn't taken. It's like a Protoss having 4 Archons over here while trying to take this fight. Without the Archons he would lose as well, right? Then you could just aim with him, but the Archons are doing the big amount of damage. Now, the second problem, I'm going to go about this fight a numerous amount of times. The Broodlords are kind of at the front, right? They just get, the Archons just shoot at them and blow them up while the Colossi clear the Broodlings. Then we also have the Tempest doing a good amount of damage to them. And that's the second problem. So the Broodlords immediately die because they're right at the front. The Vipers were not really that effective. I mean, the only air unit that the Protoss lost until the very end was the Mothership. Now let's go over it again. We're going to look at this fight over and over and I'm going to explain one thing after the other. Now let's have a look at the Corruptors this time. We go in, run away. Clump up, another pretty big hit. They're still standing around while the Protoss army is shooting. Now what are they shooting at? Interceptors. They're just shooting at the interceptors. Now some Corruptors are like, well, it's time to kill the Mothership. It's a little bit late for that. And the Mothership is not the prime target, right? You want these carriers gone. If you can kill the carriers first, just kill the carriers first, because else the Corruptors just kill the interceptors and do nothing at all. They just roll around like little kids. Then the Vipers. Parasitic bomb on clumped up Protoss units in the air can be good. But I would have preferred some blinding cloud on the Archons. So the Archons cannot do that much damage. Just put a blinding cloud here and here. And it will be a lot harder for the Archons to reach your reach your Broodlords and Corruptors. And the Archons are doing a lot of damage. Of course the Tempests kill one Corruptor after the other. I think he's kind of focus firing them. That's another thing you want to deal with. And what you ideally I'm going to explain to you the ideal engagement right now. Ideally you want the Lurkers over here, right? Of course you don't have the Lurkers, then you want the Broodlords a little bit at the back. You don't want the Broodlords at the very front. You can go in and then kite with the Broodlords away. But what you're doing is you're going in, run away. Right now you want the Broodlords somewhere around here, and just shoot at these Archons. Then you want the Corruptors spread out in an arc, and then you go in with them. Right click carrier, shift right click the other carrier, shift right click Tempest. Has to go really quick. Then the mothership can be largely ignored as long as you have overseers, but send them in, spread them out a little bit if you can. Blinding cloud the Archons, or if the Protoss area is stacked like here, parasitic bomb, 3 bombs right here, and the Protoss has to spread his Tempest because else they take too much damage. Then what else do you want? Broodlords. Try to spread out the Broodlords a little bit. Try to kite with them against the Archons. Make sure your Corruptors do not clump up against his Archons. You really have to deal with them. Though that's really why you lost this fight. And of course, if you can kill the Archons with the Lurkers, it's going to look completely different. Your composition was not really the big problem. You have 72 drones, that's okay as well. Problem is just that you took a really horrible fight and that half your army, a lot of your army value is right over here. The end of the map. You're doing a good job denying him bases with these overlords. It's really good. But just spread your Broodlords a bit, spread your army. Don't engage him clumped up. The Archon cannot be underestimated. Respect the Archon, guys. Respect the Archon. I'm going to answer your other question. How do I deal with F2ing? I'm a player, Grandmaster, top 100 Europe. My highest rank is like rank 8. I use F2 only, pretty much. What I do is, let's say I expect an attack over here, and then I'm like, well, I also have to defend this base. No, not this bug again. Never I press spacebar, that happens. Now it's gone. So I press F2. Of course, when I press F2. I press F2, and then I send all my units down here. I usually do it just A and then left click on the minimap, and then they go down there. Then I box part of the unit, send them up here. Then I'm like, well, I also want some down here in case he goes over here, so I box, send some units over here, and then I have these 3 bases defended. And then I do no longer F2, then I'm like, oh, wait, I need to micro down, I need to micro up here. Okay, I'm gonna go here, box the units quickly, maybe Control Shift click away the drones if I marked any drones, and then I just micro. I'm like, oh, down here there's something. Okay, let me box. Then I'm like, oh, he's actually attacking me over here. F2, A move, and send all the units there. You just kind of have to find a system that works for you, that you can... I work a lot with boxing. Like, I always box my units right here, with just do... Control click, Broodlord, duck, right click over there. Overseer, stuck over there. Like, you just have to box really quickly. That's how the pro gamers play too, right? If you watch Mario's point of view, all he does is box units all the time. Just box, so you can split them, so you can spread them out, so you can tell them what to do. That's how you play StarCraft at the higher level, I think. And then the bonus question, a pretty long one. Thanks to you, I've recently switched from MLB to Roach Ravage Infestor in CVT. I've been doing fine, but I can't get the fungal bile combo to off properly without getting my infestors killed? How? Okay, first of all, that's the first question, so we're going to quickly answer that. When I use infestors and ravagers, I actually hotkey my ravagers on the 2 hotkey and my infestors on the 3. So what I would do is F2A move, then press 3, fungal. I'm sorry. Fungal, so left click, fungal, duck, duck. Then I press my bile hotkey. Switch to ravagers by pressing 2. No, wait. 1 second, I have to explain this properly. I F2A move if I want to engage. Then I throw down the fungals by pressing F and holding it. That way the biles will I will fungal. Then I press 3 and send the infestors away. Then I press 2 to get control on the ravager, and then I just hold down the bile hotkey and throw biles where I want them to land, like this, and then it would just throw a line of biles over this area. And then I press F2A move again, or I just box my units manually and send them around, and every time I move in, I send my infestors away again by pressing 3 right click where I have them to go. Or you can also just put all your units except the infestors on the hotkey 1 or whatever. But you kind of have to macro your infestors manually. Next question, how do I deal with air protoss? Dear God, it seems impossible to counter. Air protoss, I made a video about that. You can find it on my YouTube channel. Just search for Sky Toss or Sky or Air, or you will find it. It's a pretty new one on the CVP front. It was an apotheosis. What you do is, you want Ultralisks, Corruptors and Vipers. Those are the only 3 units you want. You send in the Ultras to deal with the Archons and the High Templars, and then you make a huge spread. Like, let's say the Protoss stands here. And you have to attack him from this angle. So what you would do is some Ultras here, attack. Then you send Corruptors like in as big of an angle as you can in. And you also try to spread out your Vipers a little bit. Then you want to make sure you cannot storm your Corruptors, or like storm the Corruptors while they're clumped up, or feed back the Vipers. Put the Parasitic Bomb on the Tempest, or Blinding Cloud on the Archons or Cannons, whatever you think is better. That's pretty much how you do it. If he goes Mass Carrier, then it's a little bit harder because you have to somehow kill the carriers, which means you have to manually click them. Maybe box half your Corruptors, send them on 1, 2, 3 carriers, and the other half of the Corruptors on some other carriers. Something like that. You have to find a system that works for you. But I think the best way is just Corruptor Viper Ultra. You can add some Brood Lords if you feel fancy. Ultralisks are doing a really good job against Archon and High Templar. That's pretty much it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for the replay, Martin. I'm just gonna call you Martin. Cannot JoseMartin? JoseMartin? Are you French? I don't know. I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!